I think even before we hear like everybody's feelings and stories, that we all have them, and we've all had such different ones. We weren't like together, mushed together 24/7. What are we gonna do in Nogales? Chill out.
A weekend that's gonna like change our lives.
Yeah.
A weekend that's...
We're gonna protest. You may not want to protest, but we want to protest.
So we're just heading back from Tucson to Nogales. We were up there for the migrant quilt project, which was unbelievable to say the least.
It was basically specifically for people who died while going through the Tucson sector, usually in the Sonora Desert. And so some of the quilts were memorializing, so it would have names, and then the unknown, which is desconocido, which are the unknown people that they could not identify.
And it was just like, boom, like, just hit me over the head, the whole migrant quilt project, and I was like, whoa, like, in a split second I was just transformed into, not transformed, but I was just blown away and sort of smashed in the face with the reality of, all these names and all these families losing all these people, and it was very intense, very quick for me.
How does it feel to be crossing the border right now? Just walking it.
It's really weird, actually. And the thing that I'm thinking about too is like my lips are a little parched right now, and I keep thinking about the people who are walking and how like hot they say it was. And it's like even just this little trek for us is like on foot, but to like go from someplace like Guatemala all the way to the border, it's like, holy cow.
It's unreal because, like, everyone just says, like, yeah, they're crossing the border, like, people cross the border, but, like, we're crossing it, it's surreal. I don't know, I didn't think I'd ever be here, ever, for any circumstance whatsoever. So I think it's crazy. I'm so happy to be here,
So we're almost to the Eloy Detention Center, which is a privately run prison, actually, so there's like, it's a multiplex, I call it that, but we're holding a vigil, which will be in remembrance of people who have died. There's been a lot of suicides at Eloy.
We stay disciplined, we celebrate because this is a celebration of life. This is saying that we're celebrating life despite the fact that they don't want us to be here. Ahora les comento en español. Estamos aquí porque queremos darle a entender a Eloy y al centro de detención que estamos aquí.
So, and the protest was pretty amazing. The people that were there, whose kids were dead or like in prison for wrongful judgment and justice, broke my heart.
And it was a very welcoming experience. And then, the protest was powerful. It was a life-changing experience, seeing so many people congregated for the similar reasons.
What exactly are we doing right now, Anna?
So we are gathering for March. We're gathering on the U.S. side. There'll be people on the Mexican side, and we're gonna come together in the middle at the border.
So right now we are at the Nogales border, and what's going on right now with the protest is about half of the group has decided to stay on the Arizona side of the border, and around the other half of the group is entering the Sonora, Mexico side of the border, and we're just going to continue through with our protest. What's it like right now just observing this?
There's just a lot of high energy, and I think also too there are some people who are being more quiet, and some people, I heard a woman say, this isn't business as usual, we're here to disrupt.
Pues el derecho de restringirnos entre nuestras familias, pero así son las cosas aquí en la tierra.
So yeah, the U.S. is all about freedom, peace, but like not really at all. It's really just about exploitation, capitalism, military gain.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people too have been studying like free trade. Like that's not free trade. Fair trade is
Fair trade.
yeah.
I've never been to clearly I've never been to the border, so I was kind of like, I didn't know what I was gonna experience, and I came and I was like, wow, this is like really surreal. Like this is the United States-Mexican border. Like this 20-foot brown rusted wall is what separates two towns and what splits up families and the whole rhetoric that came with it. And it was I wouldn't say a spiritual enlightenment, but it was a wake-up call to that life isn't what I see in my day-to-day.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've been to border situations and I've done work with activism along the border in another context. But coming into this with this project, I think it just, I was excited for this and for learning and for sharing stories with women migrants. And I think what I got out of it was much bigger than I imagined, right? Just sort of, just the stories coming from everywhere, right? It's not just activism that's done here, but activism that's done sort of like, way down, in Guatemala, in Honduras, in Mexico, and so many impacts and so many people working on this, right? And then here in the United States as well, like such brutality in the stories that you hear, and sometimes sort of like, the other day we were having a discussion, you weren't there, but sort of some students were saying, well, so what changed? Like what's, you do coalitions and you do all this, but like what's the, where's the change? What do you seek, right? And like, I think I was like, so like, because to me, it's kind of like in the coming together of people that's already changed.